Tonight I want to talk about why you probably shouldn't trust or put too much stake on anything you see or hear or read from the internet. Now, this used to be common knowledge when I was a kid and when the internet was first starting that you don't know who's posting. And I think that's still true today. Like, you really don't know who's posting anything, especially if you're getting it from a faceless account on social media or if it's coming from a large institution. You have no way to verify a lot of the information people will say. And you can kind of gauge this through, I believe it's called the Murray Gilman effect, where say there's some domain you have a lot of expertise in. Go read some media articles or watch some um, we'll say mass produced YouTube videos about your area of expertise and just note how wrong a lot of the information is. So, if a lot of the stuff that you're reading or consuming is that's in your domain of expertise is wrong, then you can, I think, safely extrapolate that that's probably true for most other things that you see online or in media. And you shouldn't really be forming your opinions based on these kind of things. Like, you getting information from a YouTube video, for example, might make you feel like you know something, you have some kind of hidden knowledge or expert knowledge, when really all you have is lines from a script that somebody else wrote and put up on the internet claiming to be true. You'll see. I'm sure you're familiar with the phrase "studies show" or "studies say." Well, how many of these studies have you actually read? Have you ever gone on Sci-Hub and or Library Genesis and read studies that people claim exist? Because most people, I think, when they say these things, they heard about a study from a third party that they never looked into, or maybe they just read the abstract because the actual study was behind a paywall and they didn't know how to circumvent that, or they didn't want to pay for it, and so they just extrapolate what they want. Their mind might even fill in the blanks. They might not even notice that they're just making things up. And when somebody does that based on information that somebody else put out that they too could be making up or misunderstanding or just hallucinating, you have to ask yourself, how many levels of telephone am I playing with all my information? And of all these people that are part of this long game of telephone that results in all this content online, how many of them are bad actors, right? Now, if you go on social media, I I always thought it was an understood thing that a lot of people out there are just faking everything they put on social media. They're flexing. And if that is such a common MO amongst people on social media, why are you believing people on social media? If somebody has a fast car, like a supercar, or a very high end bag or luxury good, what grounds do you have to believe that they actually own that? It's not a rental. They didn't just take a picture of it in the store, or they're not one of these people that group buy luxury items. You can't know that just from looking at their social media. And at the same time, you look at, for example, studies. If you don't look into the study itself that you're using to back up some information or some opinion you have, you could be getting something from it could even be like a reputable source or company. But let's say that study is done on a sample size of 12. Is that even a legitimate study? But people will take it and then write stories about it, make policy decisions about it. People are making business decisions. I've seen this happen in real life. People will make business decisions based on data that they can't tell you where it comes from because they don't know where it comes from, and they can't properly interpret it. But they'll still make business decisions. It costs, you know, they ride on hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and they'll never check up on these. And that's not something that is a very high stakes decision. But at the same time, are how many of us, including myself, are making lower stake but still decisions with stakes on terrible information with high feelings of certainty? So I'm not saying don't trust anything, become a paranoid schizophrenic, but I am saying that you really need to think about things that you need to think about your underlying beliefs. You need to take a step back every once in a while and ask yourself, what I'm doing, what I'm believing, does it make sense? What are some alternatives? What are my priors? I feel like I need to do a video about this one day, but logic works really well, and it's very easy to build a near impregnable fortress made out of logic. And most of the time, if you are going to attack somebody's position successfully, if you're going to unseat where they're sitting based on logic, you'll find when you study their positions that it's not the logic that ever really has any issues with it. It's always the priors. So look into your priors, look into your axioms, and you'll find some interesting stuff in there. That'll really change your beliefs. I think that's it for today.